Hey guys, we're going to talk about 3.1 today, which is pairs of lines and angles. We're going to be working with this over the next few days. And so if it's a little confusing today, we're going to be spending some more time. The first part is kind of easy though. It's just review of different types of lines. And if you can remember, parallel lines are two lines that never intersect and they're on the same plane. So to draw a picture of it, you just want to draw two lines. And usually, they will have parallel notation or symbols, which is kind of like another set of arrows on top of the actual lines themselves to show that they are parallel. Skew lines are two lines that never intersect and are not perpendicular nor parallel. So it's thinking about a line in my room and a line over in Mrs. Getz's room. All right, so this is King's line and Getz's line. They never intersect. Perpendicular lines are two lines that meet at right angles. So if you just draw two lines, and then you need your little right angle symbol notation there. And then last but not least, a transversal is kind of our new word of the day. So we're going to have two parallel lines, or actually just two lines. It doesn't matter if they're parallel or not. And if they're cut by this random line, this is what we call our transversal, and we label it with just a T. That shows that it is a transversal. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention is that when we do perpendicular lines, we don't have to write perpendicular all the time. The symbol for perpendicular is an upside down T. And the symbol for parallel is just kind of two sideways lines. Kind of looks like absolute value, but it means parallel. So for these next ones, we're looking over here at this picture, and it says name a pair of parallel lines. And there's actually only one set of parallel lines, and it's PM and OL. And so I'm going to use the parallel symbol in between to show that those two lines are parallel. Naming a pair of perpendicular lines, there's actually just one set of perpendicular lines. That is VN and TR. And I'll use the perpendicular symbol in between both of those. Is QS parallel to PM? No, it's not marked with a right angle. And is VN perpendicular to TR? Yes, it is marked with a right angle. So now we come to different types of angles that are formed by a transversal. All right, so we're going to go through this chart real quick, and then on the back side is where we're really going to see what is going on here. So the first part of our chart, I'd like you guys to write same side. And then I'd like you to write opposite side on the other. So just fill in this chart as I am, and we'll talk about what it means here after we get it filled out. So the next question, it says, are they on the inside or outside? So we'll label this side inside, and then this one outside, and then the same for the opposite ones. And then from these answering of questions, it actually brings us down to four different types of angles. The first one is we're going to call consecutive interior. So if they're on the same side, on the inside, so same side inside, they're going to be consecutive interior. Same side outside, they're going to be consecutive exterior. So same side outside, consecutive exterior. Now, if they're on the opposite side and inside, we call them alternate interior. And this is angle pairs that we're going to get from angles cut by a transversal. That transversal's up top there in your notes. Okay, so again, opposite side inside, they're going to be alternate interior. Opposite side outside are going to be alternate exterior. So opposite outside, alternate exterior. And there's actually a fifth angle pair relationship that we're going to put in the middle. It's called corresponding. And those are going to be an angle pair that I will show you on the back side, that they're actually on the same side in the same spot. But we'll talk about that here in a second on the back side. So just make sure you have this chart filled out. And again, I'll explain how to use this chart when we flip it over to the back side. We're just going to go through a few of these, and then you're going to actually practice on your own, and we'll finish up some of them tomorrow. All right, so as we go to the back side, okay, it says classify each pair of angles as corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, consecutive interior, consecutive exterior, vertical, linear pair, or not related. So our first set of angles, this is exactly what we talked about yesterday. They're directly across from each other, so those are going to be a pair of vertical angles. Okay, not anything from the front side, but that is from yesterday's lesson. As we take a look at this next picture, we've got one on the outside on the top right and one on the outside on the bottom left. So those are outside and on the opposite sides, right? So we're going to call those guys alternate exterior angles. I'm going to abbreviate that for AEA. Alternate exterior. They're on the outside, opposite sides of this transversal that's cutting them in half. The next one we are looking at, one's on the outside and one's on the inside. If one's on the outside and one's on the inside, it's going to hint you that it's corresponding angles right away. Okay? It's not both on the same or both on the opposite. They're exactly on the same side in the same position. Here and here, they're both on the left side. So we would call those corresponding angles. If we look at this next picture, these two angles, they're on the outside of these two lines. Okay, my red lines, they're on the outside. They're also on the same side of our blue transversal. And so we would call those consecutive. Let me erase that. Consecutive exterior angles. We're going to abbreviate that as CEA. The next one, if you look, these two are on the outside. Okay, and they're also on the same side of this red transversal. So if you think about it, we're going to name those ones also CEA, consecutive exterior angles. And again, if these are kind of confusing pictures and you're trying to figure out what they're asking, we're going to be working more on this tomorrow also. This one is from yesterday. These are two angles that together they're right next to each other and they form a straight line. So we're going to call those a linear pair. And then last but not least, both of these angles are on the inside of the lines. I'll make the lines blue. They're also on the same side of this red transversal. And so we are going to name those consecutive interior angles, the CIAs, consecutive interior angle. Okay, so everyone take a moment and try to figure out these 5 pairs of angles. So the first one, vertical. The second one is alternate interior. The next one is consecutive interior. The next one is a linear pair because they make a straight line. And then the last one is alternate interior angles. Okay, those ones are kind of tough. This next picture is a lot easier to take a look at and decide what kind of angle pairs you have. So let's kind of just fly through these real quick. So the first, it says 2 and 6. So I highlighted those two on your picture, 2 and 6. And as you look at those, they're on the same side, same position. Those are corresponding angles. The next one says 10 and 3. So here's 10, here's 3. Those are on the same side of that transversal, and they're also on the inside. So same side, inside angles, consecutive interior angles. Seven and 13. These guys are on opposite sides, but on the inside. Opposite interior angles or alternate interior angles is the appropriate name for those. Next, we have 15 and 12. So we'll find 15, we'll find 12. Those ones are on the outside, on the same side. Outside and on the same side. So consecutive exterior angles. Four and 9. Here's 4. Here's 9. Those are on the same side but inside. Same side but on the inside is consecutive interior angles. 12 and 10. Oops, forgot to do them in red. 12 and 10. Those ones are right across from each other. So that is again from yesterday. Those are vertical. And now I want you guys to try, okay? Do this other side. Mr. Nelms will stop the video here for a second, and you guys try to figure out what these other pairs are. Even try to guess. And so I've written down the answers to these. Check your answers. And again, if you're struggling, make sure you're at least trying today. You will start to understand what these angle pairs are and what they mean. They're not going away. It is an important piece of geometry that we're going to be talking about for the weeks to come. Okay, and then let's just finish it up by doing these last four real quick. It says name a line that's parallel to GH and contains point F. And so our answer is going to be line F. Okay, line FE. So we had GH and it had to contain point F. So the only other one that's parallel that goes through F is FE. Okay, our next one is lines perpendicular to GH that contains point F. All right, the only one that's perpendicular to GH and it contains point F would be FG. Okay, when it says it's got to contain it, that means it's got to have that exact letter in the answer. And then let's slide it over here to the last one. Lines that are skew to GH and contain point F. So that means two lines that are not even on the same plane. And it's going to be this back line right here. It's going to be FB. And then our last one is the plane GDH. So GDH is right here. Okay, this plane, we want to find a plane that's parallel to it. So if you think about a box, it's definitely got to go over here on this other side. And so we can name it with just 3 letters. We could say ABF if you wanted to. So that would be the plane that it is parallel to. All right, so now I want you guys to log on to bigideasmath.com and try to answer some of the questions. Again, try it, okay? That's all we're asking you to do today is try to pick out some of these angle pair relationships and to understand what the relationships are. Have a great day.